This is what I was thinking in my head, and somebody texted, I think the fact that the Rangers have the best record in the American League is a good enough reason to feel good about the Rangers. And that is absolutely fair. I was going to go like a little bit more specific on this, but that is absolutely a fair point and reason to be excited, regardless of what Baseball Reference is Pythagorean. Nope.
Pythagorean.
There you go. I said something else.
Look, I've always been the one that knows math formulas here on this show.
Yep.
Everybody's always said that.
That's right.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Mm-hmm.
So smart.
And you know what? That's my own fault. I said there would be no more math. So I decided to go with something else there, but that is a perfectly valid point. And somebody else said one good reason for the 903 to feel good about the Rangers, it's baseball season. That is a very good reason.
For sure.
Now, I'm going to go with the fact that our rotation is our strength despite everything that happened. So you've got the fourth best ERA in the American League. Nathan Eovaldi threw a complete game shutout against the Reds. He has an AL leading, or at least it was yesterday, 19 2/3 innings pitched. And then think about this. Jacob deGrom hasn't even really hit a stride, anything close to a stride by his metrics. And then add this in. Jack Leiter has pitched well, but then got a blister and is on the injured list. So is John Gray. So is Cody Bradford. So you could make a pretty strong argument. 3 of our top 6 pitchers are currently out. And one of them's on the 60-day IL, and another one, obviously, in Bradford, has missed a ton of time. And yet you still have gotten excellent pitching. Because I know it's been 2 weeks. I don't care. I still think that this offense is going to be really, really, really good.
Yeah, as early in the season as it is, it's already been a real treat to watch Eovaldi pitch. Like that, I consider myself lucky as a fan, Kevin. We grew up here in Texas, in DFW. We were at the first Rangers Park. We were at the second one. We've been to this one. And we traditionally maybe had a good pitcher on the team, on the roster. Derek Holland, we got lucky watching him, at times.
Sure.
There were other guys that would roll through here, but for the most part, man, we were always like, this team just doesn't have good pitching. Maybe we had a Nolan Ryan. Maybe we had one, the Aaron Seeley year. That was an awesome year. We've had a couple of guys roll through, but right now we are fortunate to watch Eovaldi. And we're fortunate, Malley, the way he's pitching has been, the last 2 games has been great.
Yeah, and that last start was, that was a revelation for me.
Yes.
If he can pitch, it doesn't have to be exactly like that, but if he can pitch anything like that for the bulk of this season, oh my gosh, that's a huge win right there.
And then tonight's game, Jacob deGrom stepping on the mound. He hasn't even been himself yet.
Yeah, agreed.
He's got a 1.13 whip right now and only 9 strikeouts in, 2 outings? I feel like he should have 50 strikeouts already.
Sure.
That's just how he typically is. But he hasn't even found it yet. When he finds it, that's going to be an absolute treat. And I'm going to feel really confident him going out against anybody on any given night. So that's really nice. Somebody said, are you really injured with a blister? How baby can that be? I get it, but in baseball, and if it's on your pitching fingers, that is a bit of a problem because it just changes your grip. So it's less baby and more, I think it's less about the injury and more about like your ability to squeeze it. Now, I did take a shot at the dart guy for the neck injury, and maybe that's a really big deal too. But we have had a great blessing of if you're a Rangers fan for a long time or a new one, you're getting to watch some really good pitching out there. Even the young, Rocker and Leiter, those have been very fun outings. The bats, Kevin, we've been able to get wins. So there've been some moments. It's just the bases aren't full in an inning, and that's where we get most excited, and most baseball fans get excited. All right, leadoff walk. Single to move them over. Bases, you got 2 runners on. Okay, now the bases are loaded. Or, you get a leadoff double. And so, that's whenever it gets really exciting baseball. The way they've done it has just been occasionally they'll get 2 runs here and there, and then it got to be good enough. But it's still been a very good start to the season.
Now, Alec, I want to get your thoughts, but I also want to throw this out from the 903. It's very important that you remember it's the 903 and not me. Thanks for not doing any more math, Kevin. Very mature of you not to go on a tangent.
I fully agree.
Yes.
I'm in full agreement. This is a wonderful Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. This is just a great day.
All right, Alec.
Take a load off.
What
Take a
is
load off, man.
what is one reason that you have to feel good about the Rangers thus far?
I can give you a name that I think everybody has been kind of surprised that he's started off so hot compared to a season or a career worst season last year. Jonah Heim.
Yeah.
I think he has been phenomenal. We already know what he provides behind the dish as a catcher, as a defender. He's got a Gold Glove stamp on his glove for a reason. He's really good at that part of the game. But, for a position that usually doesn't get a lot of love, he was still getting a lot of ill-advised attention last year because he was struggling really bad at the plate. Now you look at him in really small sample size, batting .310 this year, got himself a couple of home runs, 3 actually on the season. He's doing really good. He's taking really quality at bats. He's looking at quality pitches. Everything about his offensive game feels like 2023 Jonah Heim again. It feels like he's kind of woken up. It's cliche, but maybe the Higashioka deal kind of said, hey, I wanted to be that guy. I thought I was going to be that guy. I'm willing to be a 50-50 guy behind the plate, but that's not what I want. So, I do think there's some weight to that. I think there is some realism to the idea that, hey, there's a guy that wants to get more playing time than me, and he's got a lot more skins on the wall than I do, so I got to up my game. And that pairing of him and Higgy has actually been wonderful.
Yeah.
I really do like that they're splitting time because I think they both provide something really good for this team. I think Higgy's a really good defender. I think Jonah's a really good defender.
I agree.
And I think
He
Higgy
calls a good game.
He does, and there's a reason that some of the better pitchers on this rotation are getting paired up with Higashioka to start off the season, at least for now. But the fact that Jonah Heim is back to form offensively, that alone gives me hope that this offense is going to do something at some point.
You will like this from the 940. It's the best catching duo in baseball. And look, I realize we're probably going to be biased on that, but I like the idea that it could grow into that. And then from the 817, sorry, Corey, we used to pray to win games the way we're winning them right now. And that goes back to Corey's point about developing pitchers and needing pitchers for pretty much, it feels like, the majority of the history of this franchise.
The other thing that I'm really stoked about, and we asked Bochy about it this week, is he already has identified what this team's identity is. He's already identified that they aren't a quitting team. And that's something that
never ever quit.
And yes, but he doesn't have to say that. Nothing. Listen, that's nothing against Bannister. I thought it was a great slogan. I still think it is, and I know what he went through and why he feels that way. But Bochy, it seems like that is a thing, a quality that his teams have, that whether they don't want to let him down or their teammate down. I think that's something that Chris Young, being a good teammate, look, if I quit now, then I've quit on you. And Kevin, just like any of the guys you work with, if I quit you, I let you down.
Yeah.
And none of those guys want to do that. So I think that part of it is a great place to start the season. And then Boch can build on that as they go along. And hey, look, we can fix these guys stealing bases on us. That's something we can fix. I can't fix if you're going to be a quitter. That's something, I can't have a quitter on my team. And so the way that these guys stick with it, fight through it, and battle, those are the ways that whenever you go down or you're tied in a series going into Game 7 in the ALCS against Houston, hey, I need a win tonight. You can rely that your guys are showing up for that game.
Yeah, a lot of positive feedback, a lot of reason to be excited about the Rangers. And remember, tonight, right here on 105.3 The Fan, you're going to see essentially the start of division play, at least for the Rangers. And in the next 22 games, 16 of those games are against division opponents. You're going to make that stop over in the NL West, which clearly you're getting 2 of the 3 incredible teams to start the season in the Dodgers and the Giants. But the rest of the way, division series. And so this will be a really, really important stretch of baseball.